security and prosperity.
Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Well, plenty of stocks in focus. Let's talk about some of them. Now, the auto stocks are all set to announce their sales numbers today. But there's also a very interesting note that CLSA put out on M&M. So just want to talk a little bit about that. CLSA has upgraded M&M to a buy from an outperform, and they've raised their target price to 1,619, which is a big upside from the current market price. Now, it's the same old set of reasons. They're saying that the momentum is very strong in both the farm and the auto business for M&M. They're expecting the SUV volumes to see a 20% growth in the next fiscal, which is FY24. Their order backlog is very strong at 266,000 units, and they have 6 new electric SUVs coming out over the next 5 years. In fact, the order book is so strong that they are now increasing their capacity as well to 49,000 units per month to serve a rising demand. And on the tractor side too, they are expecting about a 13.6% volume growth in FY23 because of a strong winter crop production as well as prices. But the only caveat here is that the expectation is that the El Nino and the weak monsoon could perhaps derail the tractor segment. Let's see. For now, there's a big upgrade that's come through. Deven Choksey of KRChoksey Securities joins in to talk about that. Deven, this is one stock that you've liked, you've tracked for very long. But do you think, this whole monsoon situation could derail the growth in the stock as well as the tractor business? Or are you confident that the strong auto segment can offset that?
Good morning, Sonia. Auto segment certainly, I think, is going to play a very important role in M&M space because of a very significantly high amount of waiting period that they are having in some of the major category of vehicles, including, I think, in some cases, 60 to 65 weeks of waiting period that they have in XUV 700. So definitely, I think auto segment is something which is giving you a complete visibility for next 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years. That is, I think, definitely going to play a major role. As far as I think the farm equipment business is concerned, I think if monsoon trouble comes in, then possibility of I think you might see some amount of I think volume getting lost in this particular case. However, given the kind of structural reforms that the country has adopted, including I think in the area of cooperatives, my reading says that I think in the farm area of business, I think particularly the business activities are going to be on rise. If the monsoon factor plays some role, I'm just using this particular thing. Then in that case, some amount of subduedness may be experienced. And that could possibly affect, I think, every other company, not only M&M. So I think one will remain a little bit watchful on this aspect. But otherwise, I think the company looks absolutely strongly placed on both these segments at this point of time.
Okay, all right. Hi, morning, Deven. Good to speak to you in the morning. Well, Deven, tell us about Axis Bank. The stock has seen a correction from the recent peak, but they've gone ahead and completed that Citibank acquisition, which is good news. What's your view on the stock from here on and your view on the deal?
So, good morning, Nigel. The deal definitely remains positive as we have talked before. I think both on acquiring higher amount of deposit as well as I think incremental advances, I think which would come along with this card portfolio. That is definitely, I think, going to work positive for Axis particularly. And I think this business remains high-yielding business for the company. So from that perspective, the deal getting absorbed and the activities now forming part of Axis is definitely a good news. Maybe I think in 1 or 2 quarters, you might see some exceptional expenses, I think, which they may have to incur due to this particular merger that they are doing or the acquisition that they are doing. That might, I think, reflect into the books, but it's not going to be, I think, major chunk of money as I see it. Overall, the environment remains quite conducive for the banking sector as a whole. The corporate lending book is remaining, I think, one of the strongest proposition in recent quarters. Despite of hike in the interest rate, I think we are also seeing the growth in the retail book and the housing finance book for most of the lenders. In my viewpoint, I think given the kind of strength that they have for the lending and also the better ability to manage the liability side with the CASA ratio, I would think that I think overall picture should remain intact. Maybe because of the market condition or technical weaknesses, you might I think probably see less participation at this point of time into this stock. But otherwise, I think the business-wise fundamentally, the companies remain absolutely convincing at this level.
All right. I do want to talk a little bit about the mid-cap IT space because there's lots happening there as well. A lot of these companies have come back. And